So I completely forgot to talk about this topic, and man, this is going to be interesting. So how many of you guys know about the percentages of people finishing various single-player driven games on Steam? If you don't know what I'm talking about, I recommend you to pause this video and go to my description box and click on the link and just be shocked in what you're about to see. So I assume you looked at it already, and let's talk about it. I actually did not expect to see that low amount of percentages of people finishing their single player campaigns, because I always feel like most people would finish their games, and I just feel like it makes sense because you buy it, you might as well play it to see the ending and all that stuff. But it's so shocking to see not many people are really playing their games as I feel like they should be. There's the whole difficulty section. I was expecting a lot of people to most likely play it on normal because normal is normal, and I just feel like that's already a reasonable answer to see why it will, win. But I remember watching various games on Steam and the amount of achievements to see how many people finish this game on difficulty X, and it's generally easy is the winner in many cases. And I always thought, like normal should be the one that will win, because I feel like most gamers want that balance in games, and normal is really the way to go, but apparently it is not. The Transformer percentage statistic is fairly accurate in what you're seeing, since many gamers really don't touch on the very hard or hardest difficulty settings. Like, I was watching the stats for Metro 2033 on the other day, and only like 1.2 to 1.3% of people who own the game beaten it on Ranger Hardcore. That is so small, and it just makes me feel pretty sad. I mean, I always believe when I enjoy the game a lot, I will put the time to master it or get good at it. So obviously I'm going to play the higher difficulty levels, but it's just really sad to see only that amount of people are willing to do that. Also, there are games that just play better on higher difficulties, like Doom on Ultra Violence. You'll never come back to Hurt Me Plenty once you play Ultra Violence, or like in Resistance Fall of Man on Superhuman difficulty, where the game is much more intense in terms of action and gunplay, and this is what you really want in this type of game, because that's what it's all about. So it does make it a lot more funner to play compared to like normal, where if you play Superhuman difficulty and you go back to normal is going to feel like a ghost town. I also believe this is a similar experience on the console side. Yeah, on the console side too, because gamers are gamers, so I expect people to have like similar results and stuff. With that said, do you guys feel like single player games just isn't hip enough nowadays? When it comes to the most played games, it's generally online games like Dota 2 or League of Legends or World of Warcraft, which is still popular to this day, surprisingly. And the fact that I feel like more of these people that play these games really seem to dig in deeper within the content of those games compared to single player games. And this really does show you that single player games just don't seem to have a longevity to gamers in this day and age. Even though the sales are good and all, but I just think it's disgusting that these developers put the time to make sure the game is fun and playable, and then only like 30% of the people actually experience the entire thing. I also believe these developers are dedicated as much as the people who make multiplayer games. Like, have you guys heard that the developers who made Metro Last Light, they were working in a very poorly designed office or something? Like, they were basically living in a poverty-esque condition, and they still wanted to make sure the game would turn out to be playable for people who are interested in it. That's what you call determination. Anyways, I think there's so many stuff that multiplayer developers try to do to really hook people into playing their games, like League of Legends with its insane amount of characters, or Call of Duty's Grindfest challenges, or the prestige system they got. And it's those type of stuff that I feel like what makes people really hooked into the multiplayer experience, and they just want to come back and have more of it. You don't see that type of stuff in single player games, but I'm not trying to say that they need it, but I just feel like maybe that's why a lot of gamers are more attached to multiplayer in this day and age. I'm really wondering how many people actually finished Wolfenstein: The New Orders campaign, since that game is currently my favorite game in this year, and it's a single player driven game. And I hope you guys also enjoyed my Iron Man highlights. Anyways, have a nice day and share me your thoughts like always.